With great pleasure, we anticipatedly are waiting for our honorable chief guest to step forward to the podium for addressing zestful, high-spirited address.
What a great joy to be with the children, especially remembering the completion of 75 years of independence along with their parents and the motivators and driving force of this school, the principal and the staff and my friends. Our hearts are filled with emotions on seeing the fabulous performance of our dear children, small one as well as the senior ones. And as a secretary of this school, I appreciate their labor and the inspiration they have transferred in the hearts of our dear children, the future generation and the future pillars of this nation. My heartfelt greetings to everyone over here as you joined us in celebrating the 76th Independence Day, which brings into our memory all the things which happened in the past 75 years. And I think none in this crowd are born in the slavery. Everybody was born in the independent India, and we are so proud to call ourselves Indians as well as call ourselves living in an independent country. At this moment, I would like to bring few things to the attention of my children as well as the participants over here. Friends, when we celebrate this 75 years of completion of our independence, we should not leave those sacrifices which made by our people, ladies and gents, under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, silently, without an armed fight, with sweat and tears and blood, they were able to deliver us from the grip of the British rule. An institution or a nation which forgets the sacrifices made by the forefathers will collapse. We build on that foundation, remembering their great sacrifice. So I would like the children to remember every time the sacrifices made by those great people of this nation. And that must drive us, that must help us to do much more in this nation. The tricolor, not only Har Ghar Tiranga, but we must remember the values of that Tiranga. Always it reflects truth, purity, simplicity, valor, sacrifice, and dynamism. If all these become our mantra, then this nation will reach high enough to be known in the whole international scene. I would like to talk about the freedom little bit so that we can understand what does it mean. Where there is freedom, there is beauty. Where there is freedom, there is creativeness. Where is freedom, there is dynamism. But we must know there are individual freedoms and the collective freedom. I would like to tell you again, there is an individual freedom, but a collective freedom too. Abused freedom will be collapsed if we strongly keeping these things in our mind. Recently, a child died in a school in Tamil Nadu. You might have read in the newspapers in Kalakurchi. Of course, the people has got every freedom to express their anguish, their agony, their sorrow, and their views. but not at the cost of burning 67 buses of that region. Can you just imagine? They may say we use our freedom to express our feelings, but burning 67 buses, the school buses and the government buses and the private vehicles, what was the gain out of it? So freedom can be abused at every level. I would like to draw your attention towards a little war-like thing in Sri Lanka. The people gathered there against the government and the people, those were on the top. And you might have seen in the videos, the people force went into the presidential palace. Of course, they expressed their anguish about the price rise. They expressed their angry on the government because they were not getting fuel. They were angry because they were not getting medicine. But when they went into the president's palace, somebody was cutting the onion on the president's table. That was not freedom. Children, my dear GEMS English School children and the staff, I want you to understand what does it mean to be a freedom. A collective freedom brings responsibility. Where there is no responsibility, it is leading us to destruction. I would like to tell one important thing. My Bible says very clearly in Proverbs, the great wise man said, righteousness is exalting a nation, but sin brings a nation under reproach. That is found in 14th chapter of Proverbs 34th verse. If you talk about righteousness, you must talk about equality. I would like to bring a small information for your attention. We in our English medium school here, we try to give as much as possible the opportunity to the girls' children. You might have seen in the performance, the girls are participating more than the boys. It's not to bring a disparity between them, but to tell the world the girls are equally important. Sadly, even though in every truck we write Beti Bachao, Beti Padao, but the reality is, in the mindset, we don't honor that much the girl children or the women force. The women force is a great reckoning force to build this nation and keep this beauty of freedom all the time. I would like to bring a statistics given by the global gender gap. The global gender gap is studied by an international organization to bring out the truth. Out of the 146 nations, India is the 135th place, 35th place. Please listen to that. Even though we started giving education to the girl children, even though we started celebrating the victories of the female people, I would like to tell you and draw your attention, young children, my dear children and students of this institution, please remember, you have got a great challenge before you when you are living and celebrating this Independence Day. I would like to bring one more information. That is, we have seen already the technical advancement. We appreciate, we all appreciate that. We all use it. That's why everybody carries a camera again and they wanted to shoot the performance that their children in spite of discipline kept over here. I would like to tell you here that technology may bring great knowledge explosion. I was talking with another expert from this field on the other day. He was telling the present generation is thinking out of their box, finding it difficult for the older generation to connect it. True, It is true. And the pandemic brought online classes, and that brought face to face the cell phones, the mobile in every child's hand. But I want to tell you, friends, my children, you got a greater challenge for the future, for your employment also. More technical advancement reduces the human energy, human involvement. I would like to tell you, unless India balances these two, it will be in disastrous condition after a few years. Already we are kicking a big number in unemployment, but that will increase. That is why our school, not only our school, from 200 years, the missionary organizations are giving importance to the education of the children, the good quality education of the children, as well as the medical services. That is why missionaries are known, even though it is a tiny minority of this country. As a salt, they are able to bring a change in the mindset. We are trying our level best to bring a change, a marvelous change in the thought pattern. That is why we try to bring discipline as well as a balanced education. May the Lord help our team of teachers to impart such a knowledge in the minds of our people. I would like to bring one more information from the from the statistics. In the Human Development Index, which was conducted by the United Nations body, it brought a picture. Out of the 189 countries, India stands 131. Children, you have a challenge before us. You are born in an independent country. You are born with many rights. You are born with great facilities which your fathers and mothers never enjoyed earlier. Our learning process has jumped from one level to another level. But the greatest opportunity you have is to push this nation to the top level. But let us not forget, we are standing in the 131 place out of the 189 countries. I would like to bring one more information. Sustainable development goals. That means what you achieved, will it stand for the weather? Will it stand for the future? I would like to bring to your attention, children, especially the senior children, listen to me. Our country stands in 121 place out of 192 countries. So there is a great challenge in the educational system. There is a great challenge in the understanding. There is a great challenge of the mindset of the parents. It is not just throwing some money to get education. It is much more than that. Unless the parents cooperate with the institution, unless they cooperate with the teachers, unless they cooperate with the leaders like principals, vice principals, it is not possible to bring this nation from one level to another level. My Bible says, not only about the nation, a day will come, people will gather from every tongue, every tribe, every nation, and celebrating the greatness of God. And that God calls that group as a holy nation. I would like to bring your attention to one thing. In order to cut my time, I would tell you one important thing. The righteous nation only will stand for the sustainable growth. If we follow the rightful attitude, it will never happen. It will never happen. It is my prayer. It is always my prayer. I stand on my knees for every child in this school to show the reality so that they can understand. Because my Bible says we have a political liberty. Of course, when we see the political liberty and independence of this nation, we must remember there are two more liberty or independence must be available to everyone. That is spiritual as well as the social. We have a great struggle in bringing equality in social aspect of it. We are still practicing casteism. We are still practicing communal feelings. Unless these things are thrust out by the power of education as well as understanding of the people, it will never happen. We can never sustain the independence we have. My Bible says very clearly, that is in Deuteronomy 4th chapter verse 7, blessed is the nation which is so near to God. So it is important to keep God's presence in every place where we can understand the blessedness. It is my prayer and blessing. Let this nation be a holy nation as well as a blessed nation. Jai Hind.